What's up, Dolphins fans? Mitchell Renz from Chat Sports, ready to break down the top 6 players that your Miami Dolphins need to go out and take at pick number 6. Think about how many videos we've done this entire offseason about players who the Dolphins should take at 3. Guess what? Throw them all out the window now because the Dolphins, they made a move. Now, before I get into these players, let's first look at the biggest needs here for this team in terms of just overall draft needs. I think offensive tackle is a major need, obviously. The interior offensive line, running back, wide receiver, despite the move for Will Fuller. I know it's still a move that the Dolphins are going to go out and try to make. And then an edge rusher. You might even also want to throw in DT. This is still one of the most up-and-coming teams in football, but I had to give 5 needs, and here were the biggest ones that they were. So right now we're going to be looking at pick number 6. I'll tell you what. If this video does well, I love Chat Sports and the transparency that our YouTube channels have. If this video does well, I'll do a top players to pick at 18, 36. And if you guys continue to like these videos and subscribe, guess what? Then we continue to grow the shows and give you guys what you want. So what do you guys think about this? Obviously, the Dolphins originally had pick number 3. They traded back all the way to number 12 with the 49ers. Then they went up to number 6 with the Philadelphia Eagles. Did you like the fact that the Dolphins ended up trading up to pick number 6? I want you to go down in the comments section right now. Type Y for yes, or I want you to type N for no. So coming up right now, we're getting ready now to get in our top 6 players. At number 6, it's Rashawn Slater, offensive lineman from Northwestern. He opted out of the 2020 season, but in 2019, I thought he had an absolutely incredible season. You're going to see some scouts say that he's going to be a left tackle. I'm actually more of the guy who thinks he could potentially be a all-pro guard, and anytime I see a prospect that I'm considerably thinking like, all right, this guy could be an all-pro at that position, that's where I think that he's going to be best at. The biggest reason why those concerns are out there, length. Some teams, again, view him as the guard. Heck, I've even seen some people throw him out there as a center. But in 2019, this guy absolutely dominated, allowed 0 sacks, 1 hit, 4 hurries. Also started 37 games at left tackle and also at right tackle for the Wildcats. I mean, this is a player who has a lot of playing experience, 6'3", 305. The upside is there, and his versatility makes him very appealing at number 6. So what I want you guys to do right now, go down in the comments section and let us know here. Who would you draft at pick number 6? You're going to be Brain Flores, okay? You got the headset on, and at number 6, the Miami Dolphins are going to go ahead and pick. I want you to throw it down in the comments section. But I also want you guys to do this too. I want you to share it on Facebook because sometimes putting it in one area, that's good. But I want you guys to double down, right? So double down, share this video on Facebook. How do you do that? You click the share underneath the video, like the share button right underneath the video. You click the Facebook icon, then click post to Facebook. So whatever player you want the Dolphins to pick at number 6, share it to Facebook, put the player's name there, and also, hey, tell people to go check us out here. At number 5, and my Dolphins draft targets, I got tight end Kyle Pitts. Do I think tight end is a need for the Dolphins? No, obviously I didn't show it as one. But at the end of the day, you got to be taking players who I just think are absolutely just freaks of nature, and that's exactly what Kyle Pitts is. He's going to be a nightmare matchup, and if you can get more nightmare matchups on the football field, that just means better things for your team. He is clearly the top tight end, but I'm also believe that you could line him up as a slot or as an X-wide receiver. The player that I always say Kyle Pitts reminds me of is Darren Waller. Imagine if the Dolphins could get a much younger version of Darren Waller in that offense. You're going to be able to figure out ways to play him. You could also do more 2 tight end sets with Mike Gesicki and Kyle Pitts. He would be a great red zone option for any team that comes across him at 6'6", 240 pounds. I mean, this guy, he's special. And again, it's not a need at tight end. This is more me giving to a playmaker who has been a very, very talented piece and is probably, and just overall in terms of prospects, he might even be just a top 5 prospect. 43 catches, 770 yards last season, and in his career at Florida, in 24 games, 100 catches exactly, 1,492 yards. You see the nice average there for a tight end, 14.9. A lot of people talk about Kyle Trask. I'm not the biggest fan of Kyle Trask, but the reason why he looked good, Kyle Pitts is the biggest reason why Kyle Trask I thought looked good this past season. Also, the 18 touchdowns. So if you guys are always looking for free Dolphins videos, look no further. If you want more Miami Dolphins draft videos, I can promise you this. The month of April, man, is going to be a heavy, heavy month for a lot of draft videos. We'll keep you guys updated on the latest news and rumors. We'll be doing more videos like this in terms of players who they should draft at 6, 18, 36. The more subscribers we get, the more videos we can do it here at Chat Sports. But if there is any breaking news in April, make sure you turn on those notifications. That way you don't miss a thing. Number 4 on my list here in terms of Dolphins draft targets at number 6, it's Jaylen Waddle. Now, for the next prospects that y'all are about to see here, I could split hairs, and it's just simply the fact of who is going to be the best complement to Tua Tagovailoa. That's essentially how I have these next guys ranked. He was definitely outproducing DeVonta Smith before the injury. And, let's not get it twisted. I know some people saw him in the national championship game. He was hurt. You're also going to look at some of his numbers and be like, well, Mitch, he's not as good as DeVonta Smith. If you watch Jaylen Waddle the first few games of the season, I might even say that he was a better option than DeVonta Smith. We know Smith had a great year, but Waddle's a freak nature of an athlete, and so many times there's NFL teams out there, NFL scouts saying, who's going to be the next Tyreek Hill? I don't want to say anybody's ever going to be Hill because he's just, again, a freak athlete, but in terms of players that I've seen that remind me the most of Hill, I actually think it might be Waddle. At 5'10", 182 pounds this year, 28 catches, 591 yards, 4 touchdowns. Most of that came in the first few games of the season. Then he suffered that wicked ankle injury, tried to come back, wasn't 100% healthy. But let's also look at what Waddle's been able to do his entire career at Alabama. Now, the numbers here, they're impressive, right? But some people are also going to be like, well, they're not that impressive. I mean, this is a guy also sharing the football field at the time with a guy like DeVonta Smith, sharing the field with people like Henry Ruggs, who was a first-round pick, with a guy like Jerry Jeudy, who was a first-round pick. The amount of talent that has come out of Alabama at the wide receiver position and the fact that he's been consistent for 3 straight seasons, I'll tell you what, it just speaks more volume of how well they can recruit at Roll Tide, but also how solid of a receiver Jaylen Waddle is. And I actually think he would fit great and be a much better of a Jakeem Grant, if you will, for this Dolphins team. So today's show is presented by BetUS. If you guys are looking to go ahead and bet on some Dolphins draft props, you can do that. If you want to bet on who's going to win the AFC East, you can also do that. How do you do it? You have to use the link below. It's chatsports.com/bet. I'm going to say it again because if you don't use the link, it doesn't help us out. Chatsports.com/bet. Promo code Dolphins125 gets you 125% deposit bonus. So you deposit $100, you get $125 for free to bet with. Go ahead, bet on the Dolphins to go ahead and win the AFC East. Miami Dolphin fans, let's get in now to the top 3 players that this Miami team could go out and draft at pick number 6 in the 2021 NFL Draft. The player that I'm going to kick this one off with is Ja'Marr Chase, wide receiver out of LSU. I'm a big believer that if Chase didn't opt out of the 2020 season, you could actually see him be a little bit higher on this list. But, I mean, in terms of one of the most dominant years I've ever seen from this position, sure, you could point at Joe Burrow. You could point at LSU in that offense and how great it was. Now, sure, he's not an elite separator, but great in contested catches, strong after the catch. He reminds me a lot of Larry Fitzgerald, and it's a very, very high comp, obviously. But, when I see Larry Fitzgerald, what he did at Pitt, and then what he's become in the NFL, it wouldn't surprise me if we're looking here 10, 12 years down the road. You're like, man, that Ja'Marr Chase guy, he was literally going to be Larry Fitzgerald. So at 6 foot, 208 pounds in 2019, the 84 catches, 1,780 yards, 20 touchdowns. But, remember this guy named Justin Jefferson, who I actually think should have won Offensive Rookie of the Year? He was an incredible receiver for the Minnesota Vikings. Ja'Marr Chase in 2019 was better than Justin Jefferson. He was a better receiver. Now, I'm not saying he's going to have better production in year one. Obviously, fit matters a lot, and you can look here at his career stats. They're impressive. But, let's not forget this. Ja'Marr Chase, and I still think this, is a better receiver than Justin Jefferson. That is a wild thing for some people to be able to wrap their minds around. Just turned 21 in March. I'm telling you what right now, he is a phenomenal receiver, and if the Dolphins can get him, they're going to be very lucky. Number 2 here on my list in terms of Dolphins draft targets, I'm going to go DeVonta Smith. The reason why I have DeVonta Smith over Ja'Marr Chase, it just comes down to chemistry with Tua. If you have this extra time with a player, I do think that's going to help you out a lot. Now, am I scared that he's super small? I mean, in terms of NFL draft comps, he reminds me a lot of Deshaun Jackson. Would you rather have Larry Fitzgerald or Deshaun Jackson, right? You're obviously going to pick Fitzgerald. The thing is this, though. People are always going to talk about how, okay, he's undersized. He's not an elite runner. You know what, though? The dude gets open. He is a phenomenal route runner with incredible hands, and you can watch his tape the entire season. And you're like, wait a minute. Am I watching a highlight film? And then in the biggest game of the year, in the Natty against Ohio State, 215 yards in the first half, then he ended up getting hurt. The size concerns me. There's no doubt about it. He's going to have a lot more trouble getting open, I think, in the NFL. But he's always been able to get open, which is why he is where he is ranked here. And in his 47 career games at Alabama, 235 catches, almost 4,000 yards, and 46 touchdowns. I mean, you're talking about 30 touchdowns the last 2 seasons. So some people want to be like, oh, it's Mac Jones. Okay, well, what about guys like Tua? Like, he was very, very productive with Tua. Now, the question that I want to ask you guys is this, because when it comes down to it, who do you think is the best receiver in this year's draft? Because I think it's one of these 4 players. If you look at just wide receiver, you're going to say, okay, Jamar Chase, Jaylen Waddle, DeVonta Smith. But I want you to take a step further. I want you to also think of Kyle Pitts as a ball catcher, because guess what? That's 100% what he is. So who's the best receiver in this year's draft? If you think it's Jamar Chase out of LSU, I want you to type JC. If you think it's DeVonta Smith or Jaylen Waddle from Alabama, type DS or JW. If you think it's Kyle Pitts, tight end from Florida, I want you to type KP. The number 1 player that the Dolphins should draft at number 6, it's not a sexy pick because it's an offensive lineman, but you know what is sexy? Being able to keep Tua upright, and not only do that for 1 year, 2 years. I'm a believer that Penei Sewell is going to be a Pro Bowl talent. Honestly, probably even an all-pro talent at the tackle position. Is he going to play left tackle? No. You put him at right tackle to help protect Tua's blind side. He is the top offensive lineman in this year's class, and I know I've seen a lot of people start to take him down their draft boards a little bit. He's a young player. He opted out, turns 21 in October. I mean, in terms from a size, age, athleticism perspective, they don't make guys like Penei Sewell. 6'6", 330 pounds. Heck, maybe even just line him up at linebacker. Line him up at running back. I'm totally kidding. But allowed 1 sack in 2 years at Oregon. They just don't make players like this, and I understand like you can fall in love with receivers like DeVonta Smith, like Jamar Chase, like Jaylen Waddle, Kyle Pitts. They're fun to watch. But at the end of the day, I am a believer that football is won in the trenches, and you are going to win a lot more than you're going to lose them with a player like Penei Sewell at right tackle. So let's go through these top 6 players one more time here in terms of Dolphins draft targets at number 6. I got Penei Sewell. He's my number 1. If you guys want to disagree with me, please go down in the comments section on YouTube and y'all can yell at me. Then we got a nice little run here of wide receivers: DeVonta Smith, Jamar Chase, Jaylen Waddle. I mean, it's so close between, honestly, all those guys and then Kyle Pitts. And then there's a clear tier break to me. I like Rashawn Slater, but I am going to take Penei Sewell over Rashawn Slater every single day of the week. If Sewell's off the board, it changes it up for me a little bit more. But 6 very talented players here from Miami, and I know Brain Flores and Dolphins fans are going to be very, very excited to see who they get at number 6.